Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. It's been brought to my attention that Fat Joe has resigned from hosting the BET Hip Hop Awards. Fat Joe has been the host for the BET Hip Hop Awards for the past couple of years now, and in a recent interview with Billboard, he sat down with them and told them that you know what he was passing on the torch to 2 Chainz, and I think he was saying, I'm paraphrasing here, that 2 Chainz approached him and said that, you got a monopoly on hosting the BET Hip Hop Awards. And he was like, you're right. And I want to go ahead and pass on this honor to you. Now, many people are speculating that, the past couple of weeks haven't been the best for Fat Joe as far as, hip hop culture and some of the riffs that he has been involved in regards to many black Americans and their thoughts on him in his interview that he did with Math Hoffa, that some of that heat that he has been receiving has something to do with him stepping down from the BET Hip Hop Awards. Now we haven't heard anything official from BET in regards to the changing of the host, or whatever that entails. But at this point, all we can go on is what Fat Joe was saying in this interview. Now I do want to give my opinions on it. I do think that the timing of it is very interesting. I think that the fact that Fat Joe just released an album, and we're not talking about the album, we're more so talking about some of these things, is it's not what an artist wants. When you go on a press run for an album, and I think this is Fat Joe's first solo album in a good amount of years. I want to say about 10 to 15 years, because everything else he's been putting out has been collaborative efforts. You don't want the attention to be on something else. And I said this on one of our end of the year shows jokingly, but I do think that Fat Joe he experienced one of the worst album rollouts that you can experience, because you want people talking about the music. You want people to go out there and support the music. And what happened was, when he went out there and did the interview with Math Hoffa, and the topic of hip hop and its origins, and FBA, Foundational Black Americans, and Black Americans in general came up, Fat Joe used that opportunity to go out there and call out FBAs in a derogatory way, and double down on using the N word, where people have been critical of him using the N word. And, it put a sour taste in people's mouth, and we weren't even talking about the album anymore. Now we're talking about this back and forth. And then weeks later, he's saying he's not going to host the BET Hip Hop Awards anymore. Another thing that, many FBAs and many foundational Black Americans, or just Black Americans in general, had questions about. They were critical with BET of having him host. So the fact that he stepped down from that post after all of this has gone on is very interesting. Now, what I would like to see, in my personal opinion, again, all of these things are out there, is, I'm just reporting, what I've seen, and what has been documented. But I would like to see Joe, as somebody who cares about hip hop culture, if he, is someone who truly cares about hip hop culture, I don't understand why he can't meet people in the middle. I do think that, the invitation that Lord Jamar put out there to actually have a debate, a healthy debate, I think that is a healthy thing to do. I mean, why not? Shout out to Lupe Fiasco. Like, I know he came on to our show, and we're talking about on one of According to Hip Hop shows on the Weekend Rhyme. We were talking about technology, AI, and he came in and gave his opinions on things. And I think that's the best thing in this space to do, where you have people who have disagreements, then sit down and talk about it. And I think that the door has been open for Joe to do that, but for whatever reason, he doesn't do that. And, I think that it would be a progressive thing, as opposed to just kind of saying things and leaving the room. And that's all people want. People want truthful dialogue. They want, if you're going to make statements about hip hop being 50-50, which, everybody has an opinion on, at least come to the table with your set of facts, your verifiable facts, and, and refute that with the other people who have their facts in order in those things as well. I would like to see some of our OGs, come with a documentary. I think that it's great that Mic Check happen. Shout out to Tariq Nasheed for doing that, for putting in the work to actually develop Mic Check, talking to the pioneers, giving them a voice that we haven't seen, them have a voice or a stage or a platform to speak their stories. This is like the first time. Like, I mean, I think that, we've heard some interviews from Cornbread here and there, the first graffiti artist, but to actually give Cornbread a platform to, speak on that level, giving, Shy LaRock that platform to speak on that level. I think we need more documentaries like that. And I would employ anybody who wants to refute or have these debates or that gets angry about said things, go out there and make your own documentary as well, and talk to these pioneers as well, and let's see where we come with this. And I think that what Fat Joe has gotten a rude awakening on, if you will, is the fact that we're in an era now where, if you say something online, in an interview, whatever, people are going to go back and fact check you. Like, people are going to go out there and do their research. We are in the age of information. Now, we do have this thing where, people just read headlines, people just go off of headlines and all of that. But at the same time, we are in the age of information, and people can break down what you're talking about. And if you say something like, hip hop being 50-50, hip hop being created 50% Black Americans and 50% Puerto Ricans, or however he said it, even if he said it in jest, you need to clarify those comments. You need to clarify those statements. And it's okay to even go back and retract your statements. It's fine. But I think that doubling down is what really got Fat Joe to step down from the BET Hip Hop Awards hosting job, because I don't know. I mean, the timing is just wild. And again, the BET Hip Hop Awards isn't until October. So you would think that if this was a decision that was based on, what 2 Chainz said, or that organic, why even have to go out there? Why would you even have to go out there and say anything about this at a time like this? Like, the timing is very, very weird. Why would you even have to go out there and say that in January when the BET Awards isn't until October? So, yeah, it feels like the heat became a bit much. But again, I think that Joe should be given the opportunity to go ahead and really speak his side. But I think whenever he's given the opportunity to speak, he's not giving credence to those others and the other side, and the people who are coming with their facts, and the people who are stating their claim in the creation of hip hop, and the people who are refuting his original statements. And if you have people who are refuting your original statements with facts, if you don't listen to them, or if you don't consider their actual facts or consider the pioneers that they spoke to, what does that actually make you look like, But again, the beauty of what we got going on right now in hip hop, in social media, and just the whole media landscape is the fact that people could turn on their camera and just go out there and be honest about what is going on, what they see, and what has been done, and people's impact. I think the biggest thing here is don't take credit from others that put in that work. Don't take credit from those who are creators. Give the creators their credit. And I think even as a hip hop fan myself, and I'm nowhere near old enough to be able to have boots on the ground to know what actually happened, when it happened, and this and that. But the fact that as a hip hop enthusiast, as a hip hop fan, my whole life, it's crazy that I'm still finding out some of the things that the pioneers did that never got credit. And I think it's very sad. Give the creators their credit. Give the Trixies of the world, the first B-boy, give him his credit. Breakdancing's in the Olympics now, and Trixie didn't get mentioned at all during that. And I think that's a shame. And I have to ask myself as a hip-hop fan, why? Why are the people who created this wonderful genre and this wonderful landscape that many of us are able to actually create a life on, why are they not getting their credit? And why would somebody who has been presented to us as an ambassador of hip hop like Fat Joe, why would you fight this? You know, Fat Joe, you have the platform to be able to actually um, put put onus and credibility, or if you will, or just a big voice, shall I say, behind the true creators and have a conversation with them. I think that'd be a powerful moment, Joe. If you go out there and sit down with the creators and have a conversation about this, have a conversation about what you feel like you've seen in hip hop coming up, and and your statements of 50-50, and add some clarification to this, because continuously fighting that when they're actual creators and OGs and pioneers that aren't getting their credit, it's not a good look. And honestly, hip hop is always going to be from the streets and from the core and from the grassroots, no matter how commercial it gets. It's always going to be that. So you can't keep fighting the grassroots. You can't, and you have to some degree, if you're going to be that ambassador of hip hop, and if you're going to hold that flag and carry that flag for the culture and for the Bronx in that way, because hip hop is global now. And many of those, people that were in the Mike Check documentary from Tariq Nasheed, they're from the Bronx too, but they were actually there outside in the Bronx when this thing was being created, and their word means something. And I don't understand why you wouldn't even have just a conversation with them. I think that'd be a very powerful thing to do. But yes, that's what's going on right now. I mean, as we get updates, I'll definitely keep people abreast of what's going on. But as of right now, Fat Joe has announced that he is no longer hosting the BET Hip Hop Awards. Hit like and subscribe. I'll see you guys on our Monday lives, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Talk to you soon, guys. Appreciate it.